Here we go. The next part, DEXA scans. Well, a DEXA scan is to check your bone density. So in menopause, what happens is that our bone density, because of the lack of estrogen, starts to become affected. Eek! Oh my goodness. Thinning bones, what does that lead to? Well, the thing is, you're not aware that your bones are thinning until they start breaking in later life when you have a fall. So do you see how important it is to really know? I've never had a DEXA scan before. So I thought, right, this is a test that Olivia Hum said that I should get. She is a menopause doctor, purely because we want to see whether boosting the estrogen, i.e. changing the HRT, is going to make a difference, because the HRT I'm on, Femston, has a very, very low amounts of estrogen. So the previous one that I was on for 4 years got changed. It's called, and then it was changed to, which actually means that my estrogen lowered by literally half. Can you imagine that? So then the underlying symptoms of the menopause came through. Now, if those hot sweats started to come through again, it also means, guess what? Bone density is going to be affected. So we're doing a DEXA scan to really check that everything's okay. And from that, I make an appointment to find out exactly what happened. So I'm going there this afternoon. I'm going to see if I can take the camera so I can show you the setup and how it works. Don't know if I'll be allowed, but hey ho, we can but ask, because I want to give you all the information that I possibly can. So, DEXA scan, here we go. Waiting for the DEXA scan. It's very empty. Just me. Well, DEXA scan over. That was pretty easy. Wasn't too horrific. If any of you had a DEXA scan before, it was good. It was easy. It was a little bit uncomfortable when I had to turn my toes in because I've got arthritis with my hip, so it hurts a little bit. But we're sorting that out on Monday, because I'm seeing a hip specialist on Monday to sort out the arthritis. So we've done the bone density scan, then we have the arthritis check, and then we're back to see Olivia Hum about the menopause. So I got my DEXA scan back. Okay, I'm going to read out the email I got back from Olivia Hum. So she's interpreting the results. Hi Olivia, your bone density scan is back. I'm going to try and explain your results. The T-score is looking at your bone density compared or relative to an average 30-year-old adult. So T-score is looking at the bone density relative to a 30-year-old adult. It should be between -1 and +1. So bone density declines with age anyway, so mine would be expected to be a little bit lower than a 30-year-old. We also know that I'm slim. I've been through parts of my life where I was not having periods. I've had irregular periods since I was young, since I first started. I remember years ago, I went to hospital, I had to have a scan because my periods have always been like that. And in my 20s, they wanted to put me onto the pill and I absolutely refused. And okay, so the reasonings would have been probably to protect bone health, probably to protect cycle as such. But through that, I've always kept myself really fit and healthy. I've always ate really well. I love my food, absolutely love it. And weight has really fluctuated over the time, you know, through having kids and then growing up. But weight training, resistance training has always been part of my life, and that has been a plus. So listen to this bit. Your bone density is slightly below 1. All right, so they measure the spine is -1.3, okay? So that's not so good, but the bone density in my hip where I have the arthritis is -1.9. So that makes me osteopenic. It means your bones are slightly low in density. There is a but. Still some way off osteoporosis. It would be a lot worse if I hadn't been on HRT for the last 8 years. So HRT helps with bone density. And I know that I fought going on HRT for 2 years until the symptoms got so worse I gave in. At that point, because I was younger, as early 40s, I wasn't really thinking about bone density, but thank goodness I did go on HRT because my bones would be a lot more brittle now. So the actual numbers, however, aren't the main thing we look at. The important thing is your FRAX score. Now, a FRAX score looks at how likely you are to have a fracture in the future. So for me personally, that I am 4.3%, so 4.3% likely to have any osteoporotic fracture in the next 10 years. These risks are low, but I am firmly in the no extra treatment needed as part of this graph. However, what Olivia goes on to say is for now, she would advise me to keep doing load-bearing exercises, which I do anyway. Obviously, steering away from high impact. Now, high impact is things like plyometric training or running and jumping. Yeah, running is a constant force, yeah, and it can be quite impactful. Walking, however, still gets the results, but it doesn't impact the joints so much. Overloading the joint with weights as well can also cause aggravation, and of course it's going to wear the bone down more. So at this stage in your life, it really is about using resistance training, band work. I use loads of these to increase not only muscle density, but also get that blood flow around the muscle and help your bone health. Moving against a resistance or against a force is going to help your bone density. It's not just about staying in shape and managing your weight. It really is about looking after your bone health long term. So once osteoporosis gets into your spine, of course, you see that curvature happening. That's when the bones just become weak. So really, to strengthen the muscles in and around your bones is so important. Support your skeletal system through resistance training. It doesn't have to be gym based. It can be home exercise based. That's the beauty of these fantastic tools. She gave me some information on osteoporosis, living with osteoporosis, exercise and physical activity for osteoporosis. That's well worth checking out. I'll put the link below in the comments section, so do go down there and have a look. The other thing is to make sure that you take vitamin D supplements, she said, all year round, and to have enough calcium in the diet. Now, a lot of us already take vitamin D supplements, of course, are really important for bone health, but also, do you have enough calcium in the diet? Go down below the video, and there is a link there from the Osteoporosis Foundation over here in the UK, which is an educational calculator so that you can check how much calcium you have and whether you have enough calcium in your diet to support your bone density long term. So definitely do that. I did. I have a lot of nut milks, oat milks. I don't have a lot of dairy, but I do have milk every day. I have yogurt maybe 2-3 times a week. I have lots of green fibrous vegetables and tomatoes, things like that. Potatoes also have some calcium in. So go in there and have a little check, fill in that calculator and see if you have enough. And if you don't, really increase those foods that are higher in calcium. However, if you have too much calcium in diet, it can have a negative effect. So it really is important to get your doctor's advice if you're going to take a calcium supplement of some kind, okay, and you can't get that amount of calcium through your food for various reasons, okay. So Olivia was great. She said we need to repeat this DEXA scan in 3 years' time, and she said give me a shout if you've got any questions. So Olivia, thank you so much for all your help and for explaining that so well, and for the links. So ladies, go to your doctor. Get your bone density scan done. It will give you an indication, not necessarily for now, but how you're going to be in 10 years' time, how you're going to be in 20 years' time. This is about optimum health, looking after our bodies now so that we can really cope with what is there in the future. We don't want to have falls and fractures. We don't want to be not being able to walk or be able to have good posture and stand upright because we've got severe osteoporosis in our bones. So let's act now that we're in our early 50s. Get your body checked. Make sure you're in the right flow. Really, really important. So thanks for listening about DEXA scans. I hope you found that really helpful. And next week, I'm going to be updating you on my menopause journey, which has been up and down, up and down, up and down. It hasn't been a walk in the park. And I'm sure many of you are going to relate to that. It has been pretty stressful, but I'm going to tell you exactly what went on and how I managed to feel good all the way through it, even though it hasn't been a very nice journey for my vagina at all. I will see you next week. forget this is a series, so do check out Liv's Menopause Shocker videos here on YouTube. Or if you fancy a bit of exercise, look down in the feed and you can see different ways to exercise at home. Don't forget to follow those workouts. Loads of information and podcasts and things to really spice up your life.